Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of Tutorial Tuesday. This week we're learning all about what I call harmonic geometry. So put simply, harmonic geometry is just thinking in shapes on the handpan rather than thinking about what notes we're playing. We've already done a little bit of this last time with the chord rows that we learned about. Okay, those are just moving in lines. But we can expand on this idea even further. So for thinking in chord rows, we're just thinking these kind of curved lines, these groups of three. And we can take that shape and shift it all around the handpan. So what if we were to think in other shapes? So one that I use a lot is just thinking in squares. So we've got this square on the chord. We can also take that same square shape and just rotate it by a couple notes. Now it's, I guess, more of a diamond. We can even think in triangles. So what about this one right here? Now what if we take that same triangle shape and just flip it over onto the top? Now we've got this triangle. Already some really cool ideas in there. We can even use smaller triangles. If you have a mutant instrument like mine, then you're gonna have a couple more patterns that we can pick out. So maybe this little triangle here, it's kind of like an equilateral almost. Nice little idea. Now we can flip that over on this side for its mirror image, this little triangle right here. Got a nice little motion between those two. And again, I'm not even thinking about what notes I'm playing or what chords I'm creating. I'm just thinking in shapes. So one of my favorite things to do with harmonic geometry is I'll take a pattern, a shape that I'm familiar with, and I'll move the handpan around the shape. So let's take maybe this sort of triangle thing here, these three notes, and I like putting the ding in the middle too, so we almost have like this Y shape. Really nice, easy pattern. Okay, now let's rotate our handpan around, keeping that same shape, but now from a different position. So now my triangle is here, and we're gonna put the ding in as well. And the same thing goes for any position on the handpan. So we can rotate to some really wild arrangements, maybe here with the D now as our center, and we can get that same square shape that we were doing earlier. Let's see how this one sounds. It's kind of nice. We can move it over here, do these four notes for another square. Not all of them are going to be winners. And of course we have our triangles and our lines. Little cacophonous from that angle. But the general rule applies that when we can start thinking in shapes, in patterns on our instrument, rather than through what chords or specific notes we're playing, which of course is important, but when we think with this approach, you might discover some really cool patterns, some really cool chords that you might have completely skipped otherwise. And it's just as simple as finding shapes on your instrument. So play around with that this week, guys. I think you're gonna have a lot of fun discovering some new hidden patterns, and let me know how it goes in the comments. See you guys next week for another Tutorial Tuesday.